Yes, sir. Right now, you guys are locked into a brand new appetizer episode of that. Come on with it.
Brand new LCP.
Ladies, this question is for you. Let's say, for example, you are approached by a couple to become a surrogate mother. A couple offers you $500,000 to give birth to their child. Now, in the midst of the pregnancy, there is a discovery that the child in which you are a surrogate for is developing a heart condition. Now, the couple who paid you to become a surrogate is telling you, hey, you know what? We no longer want this child. We want you to have an abortion because we don't want a child with a heart defect. We don't want a child that could potentially have a shorter life because of this health condition. Now, again, your body, your choice. The child is not yours because you are a surrogate, but the child is inside of you. So now you make a decision. You know what? I am not having an abortion. I'm going to run to another state where abortion is illegal, and I'm going to keep this child. That is the true story. That is something I want to talk about today on this brand new appetizer episode, man, because right now there's a legal battle going on in real life because a surrogate mother actually did that. She decided to not have the abortion. She ran to Texas where abortion is illegal, and she wants to keep the child. But now all the legal experts and lawyers are saying that she still has no right to that child. So I'm going to step aside. I want to play the news story, and then I'm going to come back, give you guys my opinion, my thoughts on this story making the waves. This is CBS LA. Talk to me about this controversy.
Over a baby making news across the country tonight. It involves an LA couple who paid a surrogate mother to carry their baby. But now the surrogate wants to keep the child. CBS LA's Brittany Ehrman is in the newsroom with the lawsuit that has crossed multiple states now. Brittany?
That's right, Pat. This is a complicated story involving medical ethics and legal challenges. The baby was born today with a severe heart defect. The couple who hired the surrogate knew in advance the baby would face serious health challenges and asked the surrogate to get an abortion, but she refused. Then she fled to a state where abortions are illegal.
I felt hopeful for sure. I knew that it wasn't a death sentence of a diagnosis.
McKenna West says she wanted to give the baby she was carrying a chance. West was about 20 weeks into a surrogate pregnancy for a Los Angeles couple when doctors discovered the baby had hypoplastic left heart syndrome. It's a rare heart defect that can require multiple surgeries. West told this conservative organization Live Action the intended parents wanted to end the pregnancy, but West refused.
It was just a horrible, trapped feeling to be like, this is my body and I absolutely don't want to go through this.
West eventually left her home in Alaska and went to Texas to continue the pregnancy, where state law does not allow abortions based on a fetal diagnosis like Gabriel's. The baby was born on Wednesday, where the medical team was ordered to deliver life-saving care. And with his birth, the legal battle enters a new phase.
She wants the baby, she wants the legal recognition that she is the mother. And she wants that because she cares fundamentally for the life and safety of baby Gabriel.
West's attorney acknowledges she signed a surrogacy contract that addressed termination. He says the agreement stated that if a birth defect was discovered, the intended parents could request a termination and West would follow through. Her attorney now argues she should not be bound by that agreement.
Anyone who tells you that a woman should have a right to choose an abortion, I hope that they believe that a woman should have a right to choose not to get an abortion.
The case stretches across 3 states, from Alaska, where West lived, to California, where the intended parents live, and Texas, where Gabriel was born. The dispute is now putting a spotlight on what happens when a surrogate and intended parents disagree.
A huge part of our informed consent is talking about termination, talking about these exact scenarios.
Angela Richardson-Mook runs Alicia Surrogacy, which is not involved in the case. She says the goal is to make sure everyone is on the same page before a pregnancy begins.
The time to discover that a surrogate and intended parent are fundamentally disagree about anything is in the matching process, in the legal process, and not in the middle of a medical crisis.
And we did try to get in touch with the intended parents several times today, and we're still waiting to hear back. Now, West's attorney says they plan to challenge the court order, and they're prepared to take the fight all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. So, Pat, a lot to keep an eye on.
Certainly, Brittany. I questions like, did the baby have that life-saving?
So now when it comes to this story, man, for me, rather, it's kind of tough to pick a side because I understand both sides. So, like, I can't be biased in this scenario. Because the woman who was the surrogate, she signed the contract that said, hey, if there is a birth defect, the couple who is paying you to be the surrogate can decide to terminate this. So when you sign up, or however the fuck it is for you to become a surrogate, you have to understand that every pregnancy might not make it through. You might have a miscarriage. You might die during childbirth, depending on how the pregnancy goes. You might have to have an abortion. It's going to be an uphill battle for her because they said she lived in Alaska. She moved to Texas, because abortion is illegal. But everybody is still saying, man, she has no legal right over that child. So, again, I advise you, please don't be biased. Please don't say, well, the couple paying you, they want you to have the abortion. Yes, they did. But she signed the contract that says, hey, we can decide to have this abortion if there is a birth defect with this child. So that's where you kind of go into this murky area. And of course, for stories like this, I kind of go to the comments, and I see most of the comments are bashing the couple who wanted this surrogate to have the abortion. But again, if you are paying for something, I understand that it's not like it's a video game. It's not like it's going to see a movie. There is a child involved. But if you are paying for something, hey, I'm paying because we want a healthy child. But I mean, it's the same thing as if like you and your partner, right? You and your partner having a child, and maybe you guys are 17, 18 weeks in, and the doctor tells you, hey, your child could potentially have a health condition to where it is a very, very high chance your child might not live past 3 years old. And so many couples have decided to terminate the pregnancy because they don't want to have to deal with the heartache and the stress of having to deal with the child with health conditions, because everybody can't deal with it. Now, do I judge those parents? I don't. Because everybody should have that decision if they want to go through with the pregnancy or not have it. So, like, something I do is, like, I have to take my personal feelings out of that. Because I can't tell somebody, you know what, have this child, when I'm not going to be the one raising a child. If I'm not raising your baby, I don't have the right to tell somebody to have a baby, when at the end of the day, that baby is going to be with you 24 hours a day. I'm not going to be there. So for me to tell somebody, you know what, go through, still have the child, when I'm not going to be the one raising the child, to me, that's kind of fucked up. And I know some of you guys are rolling your eyes. Well, John, no, I don't give a fuck, okay? Because I like looking at stories from everybody's point of view. And again, the mom, well, not the mom, but the surrogate who carried the child to term, I can see why she wants the child. And again, when you pay for a surrogate, that is something you have to go through, because like, you can take out the health defect in this story. I've seen stories of surrogates who carry the child to term, and now they want the child in general because the baby is in their body. They ended up forming a bond and growing attached to the child that was growing within their body for 9 months, not the surrogate family. So again, it's been surrogate moms, you guys can Google it, who have decided, you know what? I don't want to give you this child because I carried this child. And again, they all lost because they have no case. So to me, that's like some of the murky gray area when it comes to paying for a surrogate or even being a surrogate. Because if you carry, like, I can't carry a child within my body, but I just can imagine, if you carry something inside your body and it's kicking and it's moving and you're going through the health checkups, there is an attachment that you could form with that child. But again, if you sign up to become a surrogate and you sign a contract that says, hey, if this child has a health defect, then you need to abort this baby, then I'm sorry, then you got to make that decision because you signed the contract. Woman can die during childbirth. So if you sign up to become a surrogate, you have to, well, that means that you are accepting the pros and cons, even if you don't want to think about the cons of that decision. But as always, what do you guys think? Please hit my DMs on Instagram, which is Lunchroom Chatterpod. Send a voice message. Talk to me. What would you do? If you were that surrogate mother, would you fight to keep this baby? Would you have had the abortion? Talk to your boy. Instagram, Lunchroom Chatterpod. And you guys who want to support extra, my Cash App is $NYC Story 718. My Venmo is Lunchroom Chatterpod. Stay locked in. Talk to your boy.
Brand new LCP.